Good morning, welcome. Welcome on this Memorial Day weekend as we honor and remember members of the armed services who gave their lives for democracy and freedom. And in their memory, we continue to seek peace in our nation and around the world. Welcome to this worship service. We are glad you're here. Whether you're in the online pews or here in Unity Hall, know that your presence makes a difference and makes this community what it is. Welcome to All Souls.
All souls are welcome.
I invite you to rise in body and or spirit and join in singing our opening hymn, I'm going to lay down my sword and shield.
This is a very important Sunday to pass the peace. Every Sunday is so important. This one holds particular meaning on this particular Sunday. We welcome those in the online pews. There are 25 households in the online pews. Welcome. We see you. We're so glad that you are here. If you are here for the first time, let us know in the chat and we will welcome you. If you are here for the first time here in Unity Hall, I invite you also to raise your hand so that we may welcome you. It doesn't look, is somebody shyly putting their hands up? Let us always remember to welcome the stranger, the newcomer on this day. Let us make a joyful noise as we turn to each other and offer a greeting of peace. Peace be with you. Peace be with you.
We acknowledge the Nahantic, Mohegan, Mashantucket Pequot, and Eastern Pequot peoples as the traditional caretakers of the land on which we worship. We honor and pay respect to these tribes, their ancestors, and their lineage who today uphold traditional practices, art, and education. We invite Camden to come forward. Thank you, Camden, to light the chalice this morning, symbol of Unitarian Universalism, as we join in saying these words. And everyone with the vine and fig tree shall live in peace and unafraid, and into plowshares turn their swords. Nation shall learn more no more. Each week we also light a peace candle for somewhere in the world that needs our awareness and our care. This morning we light the peace candle for Ukraine, where the fate of thousands of Ukrainian men recently changed when the conscription age was lowered from 27 to 25 due to the large number of soldiers who have been killed and injured. As one conscript said, as so many have said over the eons, I've already gotten used to the idea that this war, unfortunately, will last a long time. At first, we all hoped that it would be over quickly, but later it turned out that reality is much harsher. May there be peace across the world. Our story for all ages this morning is a vision of human potential that begins with each of us. It's called Talk Peace by Sam Williams, illustrated by Meek Moriuchi. Talk soft. Talk loud. Talk shy. Talk proud. Talk high. Talk low. Way to go. Talk peace. In the air all around, on the breeze, in the trees, in the sky on high, down below, underground, make the sound of peace. On the street when you meet, when you eat, when you play, in the day, or at night in the light of a dream, talk peace. Look at race in the face, any place, anywhere. Don't scare, talk peace. Be alive, give me 5. When you party, party jive. Dance peace. Sing peace. On a train, on a plane, in the sun, in the rain. Understand foreign lands. Take heart, take part, talk peace. In a muddle, when you huddle, when you cuddle. In a city, on the plain, up the mountain, in the sea. 2 words on the lips of the world. Talk peace. May we be inspired by human possibility. Wherever we are, whatever we're doing, may we talk peace.
We now turn our attention to the weaving of beloved community and the sustenance of the same. Those of you here in Unity Hall, you are invited to come forward at this time to light a candle of intention as you are so moved. Those of you in the online pews, you are welcome to indicate in the chat what you would like to have shared here in Unity Hall. And so we open this circle and this time again for the creation and sustenance of beloved community.
Let us prepare our minds and hearts for what will be shared. Mary Drake welcomed another great-grandson on May 2nd. Mary, that's lovely. What a joy, what a joy. Kyle Murray shares the hard news that the cemetery in Texas, where his parents, brother, and extended family are buried, was ravaged by a tornado on Saturday. Trees and grave markers were uprooted, and the church attached to the property was unscathed. It's a hard loss, Kyle. Thinking of you. Sue Frankowitz remembers 58,000 Americans lost in Vietnam and the million others who have lost their... Sue, this is hard. It's a lot of information. Sue is remembering most especially Joey Palladino, age 19, her brother-in-law.
Who returned from Vietnam and took his own life, and that's what's hard, is the number of people who come back and never were the same again.
Right. A wise Unitarian Universalist in Sue's congregation in Hamden advised her a day or two after 9/11 that while we in the dominant culture in U.S. were now feeling vulnerable, of course, African Americans in inner cities were living and continue to live in a perpetual state of violence and war. Sue was also remembering George Floyd, whose life was taken 4 years ago, and those we continue to lose because of racism and unfortunate and racist policing. We remember them. From the online pews, Julie Olson asks for prayers for her 97-year-old mother who has suffered 2 strokes in the past month. We're so sorry, Julie, that's difficult. Julie adds that her mother is fading but still eats a farmer's breakfast. Liz Binger shares that a friend of theirs lost his mother this week after an 8-year struggle with multiple physical and mental challenges, during which time he was her primary caregiver. George and Liz are sending him love, and we, of course, send our good thoughts as well. George and Liz. We also remember this day Teresa Reynolds, who is having postponed surgery. That surgery is happening this week. She asks for our good vibes, prayers, and good thoughts as she enters into that surgery and into the long recovery that will follow. Teresa, we are holding you in our hearts. I invite you into a communion of prayer that will be followed by silence, and then we will sing together. Spirit of life and of love, Spirit that rises up into broken hearts and brokenheartedness, Spirit that is named and unnamed, we gather in this presence. We hold close those who are mourning this weekend, those who are struggling with health issues, who are anxious because of health issues. We hold in our hearts their caregivers, their loved ones, who hold vigil and keep watch. We give thanks for the joy that is always at the heart of this gathering. May the suffering of the world be tempered by the joy that is life. And may we give thanks for this day, for spring coming on in full force, for the sneezes and the coughing and the itchy eyes that remind us. May all of those symptoms of the beauty of spring be somehow held by the beauty. And we give thanks for this day and evermore. May the congregation say amen. 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 I invite you to join our voices in singing Dona Nobis Pacem. The music is also projected this morning. We will sing it 3 times through. In 2001, just after the attacks in New York, Washington, D.C., and Pennsylvania, Carolyn Wally Fenn, now of blessed memory, came to me with a request that we display an American flag in the sanctuary. Wally was a World War II veteran, and he had been stationed in the Pacific. Carol served in that war as a WAVE, women accepted for volunteer emergency service. They were proud of their service and proud of their country, and they felt that in that moment, we as a congregation needed to display the flag as a symbol of our unity as Americans. I was a brand new minister at the time. I'd been here for less than a month, but it didn't take me any time to love and respect Carol and Wally, and so I agreed. We headed back to what had been the minister's tiny closet of an office because I thought that I had seen a flag in there. Sure enough, we pulled a flag from a dusty corner only to find that it had only 48 stars. Signaling that that flag had not been displayed since 1959. Wally and Carol took the flag to properly dispose of it. It meant a lot to them. And they bought a new flag, as did so many Americans in that moment of our shared history. Truth be told, I've never been comfortable with flag waving. More truth be told, I've never been comfortable with Memorial Day. If comfortable is what we actually seek, with a holiday that honors and mourns the war dead, I wish that as a country we had a better grasp on the proper way to ritualize collective mourning and thanksgiving, a better way than parades that essentially, if not glorify, then certainly justify somehow violent conflict, somehow justifies war. This past Tuesday, All Souls had the great honor of hosting the participants in the 2024 Veterans for Peace 2024 Peace Walk. 2 weeks earlier, on May 7th, this band of walkers stepped off from Algonquin, Maine, landing here in New London en route to Washington, D.C. There was a beautiful meal shared, followed by a sing-along led by the wonderful Hugh Birdsall, followed by an excellent program crafted by Frida Berrigan and Joanne Sheehan. The speakers shared their experiences on the walk itself of being shouted down, being the targets of obscene gestures. No doubt someone shouted, "Get a job," because someone always shouts, "Get a job." But conversely, they shared, there were the many thumbs up, car horns ringing out in solidarity, hearts formed with loving hands. They walked holding their memories of the wars they had fought, having concluded that war is not the answer. One said that if violence worked, it would have worked already. It hasn't worked already. World War I was called the War to End All Wars, as many of you know, and we all know how that worked out. This year's war, listen to me, oh my God. This year's walk is focused on the war in Gaza. On the stops along the way, these veterans speak with their fellow Americans of our own role in the war, our own role as Americans, as a country. They had a meeting with Representative Joe Courtney, asking that our representative do more to push for, or at least support, a ceasefire, an end to weapons provided to do the work of war in our name. The veterans reported that the staffer with whom they met was indeed very nice. But very nice does not mean that Representative Courtney will be open to changing his course, sympathetic though he may be to the veterans' message. Our guest spoke about the way of peace, the hard work that peace demands of us, about the trauma, anxiety, and eventual healing that came from a return trip to Vietnam 50 years after the war was declared over for all, but those who actually fought it. There was a cry for truth in our country, and the thought that without truth, love cannot thrive. I've been holding that idea ever since Tuesday night. I wish you'd all been there. I wish you'd all been there, and I don't say that out of disappointment in any of you. I just know that you would have been as moved as I was. The evening felt to me like the Good Friday vigil that delivered us to Easter Sunday. The experience has delivered me to this Memorial Day service. And it will deliver me to a street side in Caldwell, New Jersey tomorrow, where I will stand and watch the Memorial Day parade pass me by. My 90-year-old father will serve as the Grand Marshal of that parade. He is not a veteran of foreign war, but he is proud of his service in the same spirit that Wally and Carol were proud of their own. Again, my father is not a combat veteran, thank God. He served in peacetime, stationed in Germany, doing what he did once he returned stateside, teaching children. Would that every veteran's mission would be in the provision of learning, the spreading of goodwill. I know how I sound. You may say that I'm a dreamer. I've been called worse for insisting that peace is the only way. I've also been told to get a job, a lot of times. We live in a region that is the cradle of military might. Many souls have made careers within the military-industrial complex, whether that be on the base, at the Coast Guard Academy, at EB. And I wonder, how does Memorial Day land for each of you? I wonder, how do my words land for each of you this morning? How do we live with integrity within this tension, in this congregation, and in this region? I imagine Wally and Carol in respectful dialogue with Frida and Patrick. I imagine Bob, Paul, Len, Angela, Emmy, Scott, Jonathan in conversation with the same. Last Tuesday, at the conclusion of the program, Frida chose to conclude the program with her uncle's words. Daniel Berrigan, as many of you know, was a peace activist, as was his brother, Philip, who is Frida's father, as is Frida's mother, Liz McAllister. Patrick's mother has been for many years the executive director of the War Resisters League, whose history is on the panels in the back of the sanctuary this morning. I hope you'll take a look. They left them here on Tuesday night. And Frida chose to conclude her words with the words of her uncle, with her Uncle Daniel. And so I'm going to invite Patrick forward to share those words that concluded the service on Tuesday night with all of us this morning. Patrick.
This poem is titled Some. Some stood up once and sat down. Some walked a mile and walked away. Some stood up twice and sat down. I've had it, they've said. Some walked 2 miles and walked away. It's too much, they cried. Some stood and stood and stood. They were taken for dummies. They were taken for fools. They were taken for being taken in. Some walked and walked and walked. They walked the earth. They walked the waters, they walked the air. Why do you stand? They were asked. And why do you walk? Because of the children, they said, because of the heart, and because of the bread. Because the cause is the heart's beat, and the children born, and the risen bread.
Thank you, Patrick. The children's story invites us to talk peace. It sounds like a simple thing. It is anything but. And so we move from this Memorial Day, as we do every year, with the hope for peace, while also honoring those who gave their lives, those who have died in fighting wars in our names throughout the ages. We will enter into a simple ritual in which we do every year. I will invite those of you here in Unity Hall to rise in body and or in spirit, and invite you to speak the names not of veterans, but of those who have died in the wars that they have fought. We will hear their names, and we will honor them, not only with our silence this morning, but with our talking of peace this afternoon and evermore. And so I invite you to rise in body and or in spirit. Those of you in the online pews, I invite you to write the names of those who you would like remembered, and I will speak those names out loud here in Unity Hall. I invite you to rise. Please speak their names.
Keith Eichmann.
I share the names from the souls in the online pews. Robert Cummings and John Cristoforo, Tom Barrister, Jack Burns, George McDonald and Robert McDonald, Peter Jerome, Doug Maynard, Bobby Bagnall, and Craig McAllister. For many years, we named the war dead through the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq. We hold the spirit of all those names that we spoke out loud here in Unity Hall on this day. Let's enter into a moment of silence. I invite you to be seated. Thank you.
Spirit of life, whom we have called by many names, in thanksgiving and in anguish. Bless those who mourn. Send peace for the soldiers who did not make the wars, but whose lives were consumed by them. Let strong trees grow above the graves far from home. Breathe through the arms of their branches. The earth will swallow your tears while the dead sing, "No more, never again, remember me." For the wounded ones and those who received them back, let there be someone ready when the memories come, when the scars pull and the buried metal moves, and forgiveness for those of us who were not there for our ignorance. And in us, veterans in a forest of 1,000 fallen promises, let new leaves of protest grow on our stumps. Give us courage to answer the cry of humanity's pain. And with our bare hands, our full hearts, with all our intelligence, let us create the peace. Amen. Please join me in a communion of silence.
We turn our attention to a spirit of generosity as we take up this morning's offering. We give to the work of All Souls. Our work weaves the fabric of love called community. To this end, we dedicate ourselves and this, our offering. The offering will be gratefully received. So nice to hear Marvin Gaye, right? A perfect choice, Bill. Thank you for that. For all that you have shared and all that you have sacrificed. Thank you. I invite you to rise in body and or in spirit. We'll join our voices and sing our
closing hymn, Vine and Fig Tree. I think we're singing it through 3 times. Yes, here we go. Hold on. I think, let's all just, that just came off the beam in the sweetest way. Let's just end right there. Let's say amen. Let's say amen. Amen. I invite you to reach out into the world beyond this building. And those of you in the online pews, do the same. Hands on hearts, arms to the world, talking peace, thinking peace, honoring the dead. All of these things together are possible. Let us not forget. Go in peace and return again with great joy. Amen. Amen. I invite you to be seated for the postlude. For the postlude, this is important. The postlude is in Flanders Fields. And years ago, do you remember Charlie? Charlie and I and Nick and Tanya, at the time our choir director, recorded a four-part piece of this poem. And I wanted to share the poem as just ahead of Bill's playing it for us. It goes like this. This is, of course, World War I. This was a poem written in World War I by a Canadian doctor who was a medic, James McCrae. In Flanders Fields, the poppies blow between the crosses, row on row, that mark our place. And in the sky, the larks, still bravely singing, fly scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead. Short days ago we lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders Fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe. To you from failing hands we throw the torch, be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though the poppies grow in Flanders Fields. So ends the poem. Great poem, right? Betsy. Yeah, so beautiful.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you all. It's not an easy service. It never is. And I appreciate you showing up, and I appreciate you staying with it. And if you are upset about any of what has been shared this morning, I welcome that conversation as well. And so announcements. How about that? How about that for a segue? Announcements. So there are a couple of things important for you to know. Right after this service, there is a gathering of caregivers, sharing circle. So that is going to happen. Carol, Irwin, tell me where that's happening. Okay. Let's say it's happening in the library, okay? So if you are joining in, grab a cup of coffee and head to the library. Very important. Next Saturday at 3 o'clock, All Souls is hosting a performance of a play called Picking Up Stones. It is a play about Israel and Gaza, performed by a woman who is an American Jew who takes on the characters, the people, on both sides of this conflict. Palestinian, Israeli, American Jews, all. It is a very powerful piece that has been done in a number of Unitarian Universalist congregations as well as other venues. I would really encourage you to come and experience this. This has been a very difficult topic to have conversation about. There will be a discussion immediately following the performance that I am facilitating. So there have been about 70 tickets sold so far, and precious few of them have been from members of this congregation, much to my great surprise. So I'm asking actually personally for your support for this. I have a clipboard here this morning that you could sign up, and I'll make sure that you're on a list. Or you can go to the weekly news and click on to the tickets, how to get tickets, and you can do it yourself online. If you leave your name with me this morning, you'll pay when you get here next week. So that's my pitch for that. I hope to see you there. And then there was another something. I don't know what. The office is closed tomorrow in honor of Memorial Day, of course. Katrina is going to be preaching next Sunday about celebrations. It'll be a nice contrast to this service. So thank you all again for being here, and we'll see you next week.